I guess it's Merry Christmas Eve today. And I just thought I'd come on and wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Merry and joyous Christmas. And so today I'm just kind of spending time prepping for tomorrow. I am going to do a turkey tomorrow. I haven't done a turkey in probably 2 or 3 years. But we had a small Christmas with my grandson Ethan and his girlfriend 2 weekends ago, I want to say. Yeah, it would be 2 weekends ago, this past weekend. And he doesn't like turkey, but I think the girls that are coming, Susan's girls, do like turkey. So I thought we'd do a turkey, and they were on for 99 cents this year, if you can believe that. So I'm prepping for today. So I've already prepared the stuffing that will go in the turkey tomorrow morning. And that'll be fine in the fridge till tomorrow morning. And the other thing I've been doing is taking the last of the cookies, and I prepared a tin for my girls, my niece and great niece, Susan's girls. And I've given out a couple of these this year, maybe 3 or 4. And there's one in the freezer for Ethan and Kinga when they get back from holidays. And then the rest of the cookies, I'll just show you them. That's all that's left. And they're for tomorrow. And I'm sure my sister and I will have some tonight. So the other thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to make some creme brulee. And creme brulee is a very easy dessert to make. And it's a nice light dessert. And you know, we eat such a big meal when we have a turkey dinner because, you know, you have the stuffing and the potatoes and all the trimmings. And so I thought a nice light dessert like creme brulee. And I made it for the first time about a month ago, and it turned out really good. So I was so intimidated. I thought creme brulee, I mean, that, you know, such a seemingly fancy dessert that it might be hard to make. It's so simple, it's ridiculous. So we're going to get started. It takes 5 egg yolks, 2 cups of heavy cream. I use like a whipping cream. A splash of vanilla, like about a teaspoon. And there's one other ingredient. What the heck is it? Ah, sugar. I believe it's a cup of sugar in that. But I'll check as I'm making it for you. So we'll make that, and then I'm going to bring the turkey in. I've had it out of the freezer in the garage for the last 2.5 days, and it's thawing out very nicely because, like, you're supposed to thaw it in the fridge. Well, my garage is like a fridge because there's no room in the fridge for it. So it's been thawing out quite nicely. I'm going to be quite pleased with it. And I'll bring it in and rinse it and dry it and prepare it for putting the stuffing in tomorrow. And this year, I'm going to try something I saw Martha Stewart do, where she folds it and wraps it in parchment paper. And I've got about a 6-7 kilogram, 11-pound turkey. You cook it for the first 2.5 hours at 325 in the parchment, and then you pull the parchment off of it and put it back in the oven for 45 minutes at 425 to crisp it up and brown it and finish cooking it. And so I'll let you know how that turns out, but I'm gonna use that method this year. I've never tried it before, so I thought, why not? What the heck? Anyways, let me get prepped here for making the creme brulee, and I'll come back. Okay, so I'm back. Well, I just want to show you my tree. Isn't that tree just beautiful? Let's get around here so you can see it. Isn't that the prettiest tree? I'm going to get a lighted star for the top next year. You can't really see the star when it's not lit up. So at any rate, making the creme brulee, which is so simple. We have over here on the stove, come with me. Over here on the stove, we've got 4 cups of heavy cream. I use the whipping cream. So I've got 3 cups in there already. And there's cup number 4. And the other thing is, you're going to, once it's ready, once you've got it all mixed, It's going to go in the oven at 325 for about a half hour. But watch it, it'll start to just lightly brown around the edges, and when you take it out, the middle will be jiggly, but that's okay because it's still going to set. And then you leave it sitting on the counter. That's my oven telling me it's ready. You leave it sitting on the counter until it cools a bit, and then you put it in the fridge overnight. I mean, you can eat it within a couple of hours as long as it's cold. And then you just sprinkle the top with sugar, and you use your little torch and torch it so that it gets nice and crunchy. But at any rate, so we've got that in there. We've got the heavy cream in the pot. I'm just gonna move this a bit so you can see what I'm up to. What I'm up to. Okay, and then it calls for a vanilla bean. I don't have any vanilla beans, and vanilla beans are damn expensive. So I just use vanilla extract, and it's fine. It calls, now I've doubled the batch because I want to make double what it calls for. Because the recipe with just 2 cups of whipping cream, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, half a cup of sugar, and 5 egg yolks. So I double that to make double the amount because there will be 6 of us tomorrow. So I put in 2 teaspoons of the extract because we're doubling the recipe. And then you're just going to get that going. Now you'll hear the kettle going over there. I'm heating up some water because you want to fill the ramekins. You see these ramekins, you want to fill them part way, maybe not quite half, with hot water before you put them in the oven. And so we're just going to warm this up in a minute. I'm not going to do that yet because I want to separate my eggs because I'm going to have to do 10 eggs. And you mix that with the sugar so that you're prepared for that stage. Let me just put myself in there a little bit better. So at any rate, get the eggs. They're over here on the counter. I took them out a little while ago so they were at room temperature. It seems that when you're using eggs, it's better to use all protein actually at room temperature. I got to get a bowl to put the egg whites in. The least organized today that I usually am when I'm cooking. So what I'm going to do is separate the eggs. Let me just put it down here so you can see what I'm doing. Can you see what I'm doing? Okay, and then I'm going to put the egg yolks in this cereal bowl. I mean the egg whites and the egg yolks over here. And we're going to need, as I mentioned, 10 of them because I'm doubling the recipe. And sometimes I'm good at separating. Sometimes I'm a disaster. But that's number 2. Come on, get out. There we go, 3. Okay, so this is the 10th one. If anybody knows of any kind of hack that makes separating the eggs easier, let me know. But anyways, there's our 10 eggs. And because we're doubling it, it's 1 cup of sugar. Twice. And unlike some bakers, I don't really measure specifically. So in goes half. Like, you know how some people take the knife and, I don't do that. And there's 1 cup. God, I don't have anything at hand today. This is so unlike me. Anyways. And the egg whites, let me just put this up so I'm talking to you. The egg whites, I use them for a breakfast. I just add a couple of whole eggs to it. And with that many eggs, you can make scrambled eggs for half a dozen people with some bacon or sausage for breakfast. Okay, so that's got, you know, this all mixed up very well. And now we'll heat the milk and vanilla. Okay, so this is just starting to simmer. You can see the steam is rising just a little bit from the pot. Can you see that? I don't know if you can. And I don't know if you can see that there's kind of bubbles all around the edge and it's steaming. So that's a light simmer. That's all you need. You just kind of need to heat it up. So we're going to take that off the heat now and let it cool for a little bit. I'm going to bring it over here to my bamboo cutting board. I have a bamboo cutting board. I don't want to burn the counter. I don't know if it would, but I'm not going to test that theory. The landlord might not like that. So we're just going to let this sit now and cool a little bit for 5 minutes or so. I'm not sure that I always wait the 5 minutes. I'm probably one of the worst bakers on the face of the earth, because baking is supposed to be a science, like, right, you know, like everything very precise. I've never been much of a precise person. I'm kind of a, you know, slap happy kind of girl. That's good enough. So I'll let it sit for a couple of minutes, hopefully 5. And it's already been about a minute. So in about 3 or 4 minutes, I'll come back and I'll show you how I slowly add it to the egg mixture so that we temper the eggs. Because once you get them tempered, you can start, you know, putting the rest of it in pretty quickly. And then we're going to pour it into our ramekins. Add the hot water we boiled to part way up, almost halfway up the ramekins, and then into the oven for a half hour at 325. I think last time it was a full half hour that it took for them to cook. And you're just looking for that goldenness around the edges. The middles will still be jiggly when you take it out, but that's okay. They're supposed to be like that. And then you allow it to set. So, how many minutes have we been? Oh, 2 minutes. We've got two more minutes to go. So I'll just do a little cleanup and then I'll be back. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. And so now we're going to start adding the milk to the eggs. But we're going to do this slowly at first so we can temper the eggs. And not have scrambled eggs. That wouldn't be good. You know, like I am kind of ambidextrous, but it's still a challenge trying to do this with one hand because the bowl doesn't want to sit still and I kind of have to hold it. So now I am going to slowly add it right into this pot. There we go. So can you see that? It's just a nice kind of soft beige, yellow beige color. No scrambling allowed. And now we'll take it over and pour it into the ramekins. So, whoops. Let's get this up so you can see the ramekins. There we go. I bring this over. And then now this is probably enough for 8 smaller ramekins, but I use a little larger ramekin because, you know, we like this dessert. And so I don't mind putting it into a little bigger ramekin and making 6 of them rather than 8, so that everybody gets a healthy portion. What kind of dessert do you like having at Christmas? We often have, you know, pecan pie and pumpkin pie and things like that. But, you know, it's always such a heavy dinner, a turkey dinner. And so I thought, let's have a little lighter dessert. And certainly a creme brulee tends to be a lighter dessert. So now you take the water and you fill it up to about the halfway mark on these lovely little dishes. And then carefully, hopefully not burning yourself, get them in the oven. And then in about a half hour, they're going to come out, and we'll come back to you then and show you what the result. Okay, so I'm just going to take those out of the oven now. I actually gave them 37 minutes. I gave them an extra 7 minutes. You can see, I hope, maybe I'll put a light on the situation. You can see that they're just, you know, a little bit lightly brown around the edges, and they're still wiggly. Can you see how they're wiggly? And that's perfectly normal. That's the way you want it. And then you just let them cool so you can get them out of the water, and then put them in the fridge overnight, or 2 hours if you're doing it the same day. And then tomorrow we'll sprinkle a bunch of sugar on the top and torch it. And if I think of it, I'll show you that process too. Otherwise, Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful, joyous Christmas with your family and friends, and we'll see you next time.